friends, Denise with Eat, Play, Love. Just settling back in after 1 week ago. I was at PoshFest and I want to talk about what PoshFest was like. So I'm going to give you the real deal recap. Some people have generously created content around the opening remarks and certain sessions that they tuned into, but is it the same as going to PoshFest? I don't think it does. I think I have the insider info. I'm wearing my PoshFest San Diego t-shirt, skater girl style from the 90s, over my sweatshirt, which I will reveal in this video as well. It's an important part of the piece. I'm gonna share what kind of swag I got at PoshFest. Obviously this t-shirt, I got a bag full of stuff right here. I even have other stuff, I think, that is not in this bag. As I go through it, I might remember. I'm gonna talk to you about the sessions, what kind of stuff I got, who I met, what it was like, and I also taught yoga. So I'm gonna share a little bit about what it was like to teach yoga to PoshFest attendees and also meet Team Posh and be a part of this whole process, sort of with a little insider information, having been invited to come teach yoga. So let's get started and talk about it. So let's just start with the beginning. I was invited from a Posh live event and meeting Team Posh to come teach yoga on Friday morning at 7:30 a.m. to whoever chose to come. They offered free yoga mats to the first 40 participants, and I said yes. And then I was immediately in touch with Team Posh members and the specific contacts that were overseeing my session. So, I mean, I quickly became very excited about going to PoshFest. Would I have attended PoshFest if I didn't get invited by Team Posh? I would say I love the idea of going to San Diego. So location is important to me, and I don't know how connected I feel to other Poshmark community members to make the leap to go to PoshFest in a city that's a flight away. So I live in Colorado, PoshFest was in San Diego. If I didn't buy a PoshFest ticket when they went on sale. If it was in Denver, I 1000% would have gone. I don't think I would have attended if it was in a city and I had to fly there. So, with that said, am I glad I went? Did I have a good time? Did I learn things? What was it really like? So starting off, obviously going to PoshFest, I felt compelled to have my outfits prepared. What was I gonna wear? On Friday morning, I had to teach yoga, and then Friday during the day, I had to go to sessions, and then Friday night, I had to go to the Posh party, which was fancy. So basically, I needed to be fully prepared for this, and I am a girl who packs a carry-on, so I was up for the challenge, and I'm gonna talk about what I packed, what I wore, if it was the right move, and I'm also going to talk about what's in this bag. Let me grab something to help with this process. And what I'm going to grab is the PoshFest San Diego, California official itinerary. Choose your adventure, right? So this is what the rundown kind of looked like if you were attending PoshFest. You would open up the agenda that was on the website or what you received when you showed up to register, which makes me realize I don't have my lanyard on. I'll be right back. Lanyard secured. They had a little tiny booth that allowed you to snazz up your lanyard with buttons that felt relatable to you. It was my first PoshFest. I am a Posh parent. I am a PA2, and I even picked this up because now I have hosted Posh Lives. Back to day one. The opening of this is really cute, like my PoshFest goals, my new Posh PFFs, which are Posh Friends Forever. And I will say, I made some Posh Friends Forever, some PFFs at PoshFest. I was a little hesitant because, like I sort of alluded to in the opening, I didn't have 8 people that I am super connected to on Poshmark that are resellers that I really wanted to meet. I consume a lot of YouTube Posh selling and reselling content, and actually close to none of the people that I watch any of the names that you would name in your head when it comes to Poshmark and YouTube. No, they didn't go to PoshFest. I think that was a missed opportunity on Poshmark's part, that they didn't invite anyone that has a really large reach in the Poshmark community on YouTube. I will say that is like my one top takeaway, that I think that was a huge miss. They really focused on people who have large audiences and lots of success with lives, which makes sense because lives is what they're pushing, Posh Show Lives. But to really miss out on the demographic that I think does such a huge service to Poshmark is kind of a disappointment. Anyway, so it's day one. What happens? Basically, day one starts at 9 a.m. It's registration and breakfast from 9 to 10 a.m. Now, they did open registration the night before. I arrived on a Wednesday night because I flew in from Colorado and I didn't want to be flying in at the crack of dawn. So I stayed on site from Wednesday through Saturday. So before the conference started and a little bit after the conference ended, I picked up my registration materials, wristband, and all of this stuff the night before. So I didn't have to wait in line to register. I walked in, I got breakfast, and sat down at a random table because, as I've already mentioned, I didn't have anyone that I was meeting in particular. I think there is a beauty in that. I think I love the idea of staying in a hotel room by myself and making it really feel like a treat and a vacation for working so hard with my reselling business. 9 to 10 a.m., registration and breakfast. They left plenty of time to get food, sit down, and meet Posher. There was a little icebreaker. There was a bingo card where you would talk and meet people. I decided just to kind of sit down sort of near the front of stage, maybe 2 tables in from the front, and I didn't know anyone that I sat down with, and I soon got to know them, and it was really exciting in the sense of it wasn't really scary. And I spent the majority of my time with Amy, which is one of the people that I had met. She's a Posher from Arizona. And then in turn, we just sort of did our own thing, but wound up meeting up at random times. And you know what? Going to PoshFest on your own is really no big deal. This community is like getting a warm hug. You're never truly gonna feel like you're on the outside. There was always something to do. There was always someone to chat up, and people were available in all different spaces. This particular hotel, called the Town and Country in San Diego, had outside grounds, pools, little cafe, a bar, a great like meeting space in the lobby. They had great pull-out rooms and outdoor seating spaces. I taught yoga outside. They had a big ballroom. I mean, it was just like very, very versatile. And if you were feeling like you had enough of sitting in a room, you could get up and walk around and have a t-shirt printed. There were 6 different designs and you got to print whatever one you wanted. Okay, so after the registration and breakfast, and it's funny because I kind of have to be looking at my phone, I basically decided to take pictures of lots of things, and I didn't particularly take notes. So for example, like here is the picture of all the t-shirts that were available. There were guys from a local San Diego company who were screen printing the design you chose right there on the spot. Like, how cool is that? During the registration process, you selected what size you wanted, but then when you got to the conference, at some point during both days, there was plenty of available time and not big lines at all. You could just choose which of the 6 designs that you wanted. Now, opening was 2 employees, and I actually have met both of them at the Posh live events in Denver. So it was super fun to see them. I remained connected with them and follow them on social media, and it was great. They opened it. They had so much energy and I adored it. They were in charge after the welcome address of welcoming Manish, who is the CEO and founder of Poshmark. He gave the State of the Posh Union, and just to highlight a slide that he put up sort of talking about what Poshmark is and what we represent, a little bit of like a mission statement. It was lead with love, focus on people, embrace your weirdness, and together we grow. I did really enjoy that and thought that was cute. I will be applying videos and photos when appropriate to whatever I'm talking about. The next part was from 10:30 to 11, and it was Together We Shine. So basically the way it worked was we would eat breakfast in the big ballroom. There would be sessions that everyone would attend in the morning, and then there was a breakout between like 11 and 12, and then we would come back, eat lunch in that space, and then there were sessions in various rooms that you could attend, and you had a choice of from block 1 and block 2, deciding which session kind of felt most in alignment with what you were looking for from PoshFest. So that was great. So in the morning, it was like we ate, we all hung out and had kind of a very communal experience. And then there was a little bit of a break, and then we ate lunch, and then we did breakout sessions. And then the day kind of end like around with a happy hour at 4 to 5 o'clock. And the next day kind of felt the same way. So Together We Shine was a panel, and you know, some of the things that were talked about actually came out of the hackathon and new feature reveal. I would say overall, Manish really just tried to be inspiring and didn't really focus on like numbers or very specific things, but certain parts of PoshFest addressed all of those things. As far as the food goes, I would say it was definitely substantial. I think the second morning's breakfast was a little on the light side, and I was starving by lunchtime and basically waiting with my fork and knife for when lunch opened on Friday. So what were the afternoon breakout sessions like? So there were always Posh Show demos going on. There were sessions to help people learn social media for Posher's Guide to Starting on Social Media. There was a self-confidence boot camp, which really helped people feel more comfortable in their skin and would also in turn help them grow their business. There was also a session called Stand Out and Stand Apart, Become an Inventory Expert with shopgoodwill.com. I actually went to the Shop Goodwill session, and they talked a lot about their reselling platform and how Shop Goodwill is a great place to source for Poshmark. They also sponsored an event that was an upcycling event. There was a Posh Show masterclass in the block 2. There was a social media masterclass and video strategy. There was a brand building immersive experience. And then let's see, they also had the Goodwill session again, and they also had the self-confidence session again. And then the last break block for the day was more of the same. Let's see if there's anything different. Trends on the horizon and merchandising to increase sales. I did attend a really interesting session about keeping your pulse on trends, and I will share some of the things that I learned in a little bit. They launched the Posh Playground space, which was adjacent to the ballroom, and it had a few brands that they partnered with and lots of photo opportunity spaces. The one thing I thought was really fun was that all of Team Posh was really available to take pictures. Manish was available to take pictures, which I thought was cool. It was his birthday and he was just super accessible and hung out. I did take my picture with him. So day 2, oh my goodness, yoga o'clock. 7:30 to 8 a.m., 1 hour before everything started, I hosted yoga and I had a really good turnout and it was super fun. And I met many like-minded people because I wasn't out the night before. If you guys know me, my session was at 7:30, so of course I was there at 7 a.m. and that meant I woke up at around 5 a.m. because I didn't want to have puffy eyes in the morning, especially after traveling and then pulling up to this yoga session. I'm gonna try to see if I can get some footage from the event. I do have the footage that Poshmark posted of me on their Instagram. We had breakfast. We had a great session with 3 women who talked about $0 to $100,000 on making money on their Posh shows, how they turned their Poshmark business into a 6-figure business. Then it was the hackathon. Woo, woo, woo. I went to sessions. If a developer was running a session, I was there. My body was in the room, my ears were turned on, my eyes were focused, and I was ready to hear and hang on to every word that came out of their mouths because I wanted to hear from the developers what they're working on, what works, what's not working. Tell me the numbers. I want to hear it all. So some of the features that were revealed: an updated landing page. So your closet is going to look a little different. It's going to show what your ship time is, how many items are in your closet, and your ratings, maybe your 5-star ratings. So think about all the information when you click on your listing that's at the bottom of your listing. That information is going to be moved to the top of your page, your closet page, so people will have a better understanding. Another thing that is coming down the pike very, very soon is auto listing. I was just talking about it the day before, and then I sit down and they're like, yeah, here comes auto listing. So basically what is going to happen is you're going to take a picture of the front of an item, the back of an item, the tag, and with the help of AI, Poshmark's going to create a listing for you with the item name, with a description of the item, and obviously you'll have to fill in some things, probably condition. It'll come up with the original retail price and suggest a price for you. It is going to become almost automated listing. Incredible. Incredible. It's obviously not going to pull in things like stock photos because, as we know, those photos for the majority of the time are intellectual property owned by the company. A lot of companies don't like that, and they can request that Poshmark take down your listing. So just fair warning. Auto listing will not have stock photos, but it'll have the information you need to potentially go out if you're interested and seek stock photos. Another thing that they really talked about was Posh parties and Posh lives intertwining. So here's the example, and I guess I'm neutral about it. If there was a Posh party called Slippers, it's a slipper Posh party, and I was selling live in my show, and I happened to be listing slippers in my Posh Live, the hosts of the Posh party could call in the person who's hosting the Posh Live to sell their slippers to the Posh party. So it's kind of like Posh Party, Posh Lives get together, help you get more eyes on what you're selling and make more sales. Now let's talk about data insights and taking your Posh, experience to the next level. They shared some really interesting things, and some of the data that they shared was about people who were brand new to Poshmark. So for example, if I was brand new to Poshmark, it is proven that if I post in multiple categories, example, accessories, home goods, men's, kids, and women's, if I check all the boxes in my first 30 days on Poshmark and I don't just sell women's sweaters when I first start on Posh, you're more than likely to get a sale if you post in, I think, 3 or more categories. They gave some insightful information on Posh Lives. I had never hosted a Posh Live, only a Posh Silent Live, and I never got any sales from Silent Lives. So of course I was interested in gathering information about Posh Lives because really I feel like we're at the moment where you're either going to jump on the live bandwagon as an accompaniment to your reselling business, or potentially in a few years you may be left behind. So I have decided I'm gonna host a live once a week, and I just wanna get a sense of what it's like. I wanna get my feet wet. I wanna kind of do low stakes items, and I just wanna get a sense of what it's like and see if I can build a little community doing Posh Lives. Everyone has their own opinion of it, but I'm just sharing, to me, it feels like it could be a make or break moment, which could push some people off of the platform. I don't think it's going to go exclusively to live selling, but if you think it wouldn't add to your business, I do believe you're wrong. I do completely feel like lives give you a boost in the algorithm. For example, my first live, I showed 20 items. I sold one thing. I don't have a big audience. I had it at a weird time. I wanted to just understand how to upload items into the show, how to run auctions, how to press all the buttons. And I did that in a safe environment with a lot of my friends, some of you who watch this. And that's what made me feel most comfortable. I sold one thing, and then I closed down my show, and then I made an $80 sale in my closet. Is it related? Maybe not. Can I say for sure? No, I can't. So my goodness, it's like, how do we pass up on using the opportunity to find a way to get more traffic to your closet and make more money? Another feature which I think is really cool is a couple of people that I've met at PoshFest pretty much only do lives. They're not really posting regular items to their closet anymore. And one of those people, her name is Missy K. Gibson on Posh, and she invited me into her live yesterday, and I sold 4 items that I chose live to her community, to her audience, which was about 70 people, and all of those items sold. Now here's something that's really cool. Someone popped by my closet last night and said, "Hey, I saw you in Missy's show. I thought you were so sweet. I loved your vibe. Thanks for the deal on the bundle." She made a bundle. She didn't say anything like, "I'm coming by, I saw you earlier." She just made a bundle and I sent her a deal, and then she left me a comment. So it's just like, okay, well, that's $48 more than I had earlier in the day, and I made $60 as far as the live sales go on those 4 items. A couple of them got let go for like $11, and it's just like, I'm rolling with it. Most of the items, I didn't really have any skin in the game. I didn't source them for $15 and sell them for 10. A lot of the items I got for, I would say, $1 to $3. One of the items was given to me in, so I maybe paid $3 for it. The Barefoot Dreams I had just picked up, but it was half price day and I got it for $2.50. And what was the other item that I sold? Oh, a pair of Juicy Couture vintage sweatpants, and I got those at the bins. So I paid $1.50 for them. So that's it. Like, I am open to it now. Before, maybe even the last time I posted a video, I would have said lives aren't for me. And I have since changed my mind. Lives are for me, lives are for you. And there were really some beautiful stories. There's a woman called Mama Chica, and she started hosting lives because she felt alone and needed to make friends. And her people eventually found her. And honestly, of course, surprise, it makes me want to tear up, but there were probably 3 tables of people who were at PoshFest to hang out with and see Mama Chica talk. Like, she had 3 tables of people who pulled up just for her. Like, what an amazing community builder. So we're in this together. I do this YouTube channel because I want to share with people what I know, and I want to help you grow your business. My success and your success is all one to me. I want you to be successful just as much as I want to feel Poshmark success. Let's continue. How about with some stuff that I got at PoshFest? First, a confessional. The beauty of going to PoshFest means that I got to go visit my daughter at college on Saturday and Sunday night, and I flew home on Monday. Yay, California! So let's get to it. We got these cute bags stuffed with stuff. There were also sponsors kind of like in the lobby when you'd walk in the registration area, who were also, if you signed up for service or if you chatted with them, they were also giving away little freebies. I personally wasn't in the market for acquiring things because, as I mentioned, I just came with a carry-on and I didn't want to leave with a bunch of stuff. As it was, this was gonna max me out. One really cute item is this Poshmark beach towel, and it's shaped round. So fair warning, if you ever buy a round towel, it may throw your family members into a little bit of confusion about how to actually fold the towel if you are a rectangle folder in your storage. It did throw someone in my family for a loop. I'm not gonna name names, but yeah, super cute. I didn't actually go to the beach in San Diego. I just focused on PoshFest. We got a notebook and a pen. The notebook also had this really cute pocket on the back. I handed out my business cards to people, and it's just a lined journal for when you went to sessions. We received thank you postcards. I think these were from a sponsor. I want to say Rollo was a sponsor, USPS was a sponsor, and potentially List Perfectly was a sponsor. We received PoshFest postcards. Here's like a List Perfectly pamphlet. We received really cute stickers, PoshFest stickers. That is from the last night. I went to a session where we manifested what we want from our business, and my manifestation's in here. We got cute door hangers. Please do not disturb. Getting some rest for PoshFest. Away for some sun. PoshFest. We got the Reseller's Guide to Reselling from Boutique by the Box. And as a speaker at PoshFest, I got some swag that was a little bit different from other people. We got this amazing phone charging bank. It's just a portable charging, which actually needs to be charged. We got this POPL card, Popple. It's an app and it's metal. It's super cool. It's basically like a digital business card. And then they also had these at PoshFest. They were selling them. Oh, as you could tell, it is a Lululemon belt bag, but it's not. It's a Poshmark belt bag. How cute is that? The color is perfection. And that was given to me after my yoga teaching session. Here's a little compact from List Perfectly. And what was really fun was they had all sorts of interactive stuff at the party on Friday night. And one of them was an aura reading camera. And then it came with the color guide. So you'd get your picture taken and you could see your aura. And then you could read what your aura says about you. And it was actually kind of spot on, which I find so interesting. That's all the fun stuff I got. I also got shipping supplies, and those are all already in my shipping station. Those were from the sponsors. They also gave away gift cards and really big bags of stuff. All right, now let's just talk about PoshFest, beyond the features, beyond the people, and just share, like, what was it like being at PoshFest? So I would say, believe it or not, I am actually an introvert, and I wasn't scared to go to PoshFest, but I wasn't filled with excitement to just sit down at a random table with no one that I knew. I saw some familiar faces from Posh shows there, and I was able to meet those people. But ultimately, I'll tell you the best time that I had. After the sessions ended on Friday, we had 5 hours until the Posh party that night, and I sat down outside in the beautiful California sun at a fire pit, and about 5 to 6 amazing women came and sat down, really not having anything on their agendas as well. And I met them, and we talked all things Posh. We talked about sourcing strategies. We talked about things we do for our business. We talked about Posh lives. We just talked about life, and that's really like where I gathered the most perspective. Also sitting at the round tables talking to real life Poshers, I was able to learn some things. I was able to learn about this daily trends and to go into trends and to update my titles with what people are searching for right there, right now. Every day Poshmark publishes daily trends, and it's on the shop page. You just scroll, and it may be timeless white linen shirts. And maybe you have a white linen shirt or a white shirt in your closet, but if you add timeless to it, maybe there's a better chance of that item getting picked up by the search algorithm. They also talked a lot about promoted closets, and I have recently gone back to promoting my closet at $25 a week. I have 800 items in my closet, so I'm not sure how many items that promotes. They don't really tell you how many items they promote. They just give you the statistics of how many times your promoted items get clicked on. They also do not give you the opportunity to choose which items you would like promoted. Poshmark chooses how many and what items are promoted. Let's see. So trends was a big one. I worked on sort of changing things in my titles and names. That's a rather laborious and time-consuming feat to do that. To constantly be looking at the trends in the morning and then trying to update your listings to fit into that box of those trends. You know, I think what I'm learning about lives is, overall, if you were to ask me about lives, I would say, I don't want to lose money. I don't want to lose money. And some people are open that they're losing money selling some items with lives. I watch people who sell things for amazing prices. It's really impressive. It makes me nervous too. Is this gonna create a culture where people are only gonna wanna pay $5 to $10 for things? When you see people who really have a community and have 70 to 125 people in a room, I don't know how long it takes to get that. I really, really don't. They didn't talk about that. I just know that I had 10 to 12 people in my room, and it didn't really create that kind of environment where if I had a $5 start and someone wanted the item, it probably would have sold for $5. So yeah, that's a little bit of a slippery slope. But I do think after you have built a community and a name for yourself and you find your people, then ultimately you are able to make money with auctions. I went to someone's auction this weekend who basically just sells Lululemon, and she was selling tank tops for $30. She was selling pants for $30 to $40. All items that I wouldn't consider to be top tier Lululemon, she was selling. I mean, she sold almost everything that she put up in her show. And I was like, damn, like, I want to move my not so great Lululemon stuff as well for 30 bucks. I mean, you know, like some Lululemon is like hot, 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 and other Lululemon is like, okay, am I ever going to get rid of this? Anyway, I just want to say, I feel like if you're a reseller, you really have to be in a flexible growth mindset. You have to daily be thinking about things like, if I let this item go and I'm making $20 on it and it's a 40% off offer, is it worth it to me? I'm expanding on this. It's like, I've talked about that $20 model that Chris from Daily Refinement talks about. His goal is to make $20 on an item. And so obviously I've moved away from lives here, but I have become more and more open to taking offers that sometimes make me gasp. Example, I had a pair of lamb leather frame pants in my closet for 1 year. I had them in my closet for $300. I sold a pair on eBay for $400 already. I've sold a pair for $400. This was a different color and a little bit of a different style, but they were still both frame. And I got an offer for $150 for these frame pants. And I said, hell yes. I probably, sourced them for something like $9.99, and they've been sitting in my closet for a year. So am I going to go back and forth with this person? No, I am not. I am not. I am just going to let that item go. I am going to make $100 and I think about $20, $115 on that item, and I'm going to say goodbye. Is it easy to always accept a lowball offer? No, it's not. And I decline. I went to a session and 2 lovely women said, don't ever decline an offer. I'm sorry. I do not follow that same sentiment. I feel like the culture on Poshmark is you either accept or the buyer is going to ghost you. A lot of the times I'll have people send me a $10 offer on a $60 item. And if I were to counter, let's say $30 for an item, I'm not necessarily getting a response from that person, and I'm offering 50% off. So I'm going to tell you to do what feels right to you. Accept the offer if your cost of goods and your profit make sense to your business model. You may just want the item gone. You may not want to take $10 off a $60 item. And guess what? That's okay, because that's what you need to do for your business. Now, would I ever say, don't ever decline, don't ever blank? No, I wouldn't. I would never say that. Hey, I got a new chair and it just came. Let me grab it. Whew, it's kind of heavy. I just got a new chair for my shipping space that is like a draftsman style chair. It's padded and I have like a metal stool in there, and I'm spending a lot more time in the garage since I've zhushed it. And so I needed more of a comfy computer chair, and this one goes high for the counter height. Anyway, I wish there was a flexibility and mindset session at PoshFest, because that's what I would have signed up for, really. Let me be honest about the sessions. I loved the developer sessions. I loved the feel good, boost your mojo reselling sessions. I did not feel like the sessions were tailored to people who are seasoned resellers. I felt like a lot of the sessions were for beginners, beginning on social media, how to take pictures. There was no how to take pictures. Obviously, there was beginning live sessions, and I think that was great to help people feel comfortable. But in general, there wasn't like tips and tricks for people who have been on Poshmark for 5 years. And that, I think, is a real big miss. For example, let me just tell you, okay? So first of all, I go to this session about people who are successful, you know, it's 2 women, they're successful resellers, and they say, don't ever decline an offer. It's an opportunity to sell to that person. Well, I have my own opinion on that. So, okay, I didn't learn anything from them because they didn't say anything that I don't already feel in tune with. They didn't say, when you get an offer, and then expouse on something that I had never heard before. When they just simply said, don't decline offers ever. Okay, great. I went to a session and it was about style and trend, and really a little bit geared more towards like the luxury end. And one woman just kept saying, well, I love seeing Sophia Richie, and I source based on what she is wearing. Okay, valid. Both of the women who taught or who hosted this session also said, my top selling brand is Canadian Goose. My top selling brand is Canadian Goose. Girl, if you watch this and you have sourced Canadian Goose randomly in the thrift store, then someone in the universe is shining down on you. But I don't think a lot of people really find it attainable to source items for a couple of $100s to then flip for a profit. I don't think that's the majority of Poshers like MO when they're sourcing, when they're trying to buy items. I do follow a lot of people on Instagram who will say, I made $1,000 this weekend, and they sold really high-end items, and they also pay up for those items, and they don't share what their cost of goods were. So if you sold $1,000 on Saturday on Poshmark, let's say on 5 items, and you got $200 for all of those items, and then with Posh fees, let's back it out. You know, you walked away with $160, but if you paid $100 for an item, you walked away with 60 times 5, which is $300 out of that $1,000. Now look, you made your money back and you made $300, but I'm sourcing items for approximately cost of goods. I try to keep it $5 to $10. So my business model is different. I might need to sell more. Making a $20 profit is always in the back of my head. Selling 10 items and making a $20 profit and only having a $5 cost of goods puts me in a little bit of a different tier. Sometimes I feel that vibe. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to level up. I want to start investing in nicer stuff. And if you aren't really down with the trends, it's a risk. When you pay $100 for an item to resell, that's $100 out of your bank account. When I pay $100 for 20 items, I have a much better chance of making my $100 back. I'm really not as much of a gambler, and I don't feel as confident in my ability to source those items. That is some people's sole business strategy. I get it. I am not saying one way is better than another, but I do know the majority of people who were sitting in that session, which was probably about 40 people, I don't think any of them have ever sourced Canadian Goose jackets, like, or whatever the company's called. I think it's Canadian Goose. I'll put a picture up. I don't mean to sound silly, but gosh, I live in Colorado. Like, I source amazing brands. I've never found that brand. It's just like, really? Like, that's what you're gonna say? And then they talked about all these fancy brands of like dresses and Neiman Marcus and stuff. And I'm just like, okay, this is not real life selling. And I'm just gonna say that. And I hope it doesn't sound rude or like I'm a jerk, but that's why a lot of the sessions didn't reach me. I don't have that model. I am not sourcing $100 items. I do think it helped to hear Shop Goodwill talk about what you can actually buy on their site, and sometimes it's bulk clothing. That feels a little risky to me, but I do think people aggressively just source on Shop Goodwill. They auction style items, and I think you can get amazing deals on really like luxury top tier brands. You know, I have just learned so much from being in the trenches of reselling day in and day out that I get the base level we're trying to capture the masses. And I tried to do that with my yoga. Like, I didn't teach to a person who's been taking yoga for 15 years. I more taught to the person who was just starting out learning yoga. I kept it simple. I kept it refreshing. I kept it grounding. So I think that's what Team Posh had in mind. We're going to keep it simple, refreshing. We're going to try to capture as many people as we can with this information. But for the people I sat around the fireplace with who have been doing this now for a few years, it's like the fire pit. It's like, none of those sessions really did anything for me. And it's uplifting and it's fun to meet people and reach out of your comfort zone and say words that the people at the table or you're sitting with understand what you're saying. It's sort of like you are in a room of like-minded people who want to make money, who want to find those deals when outsourcing, who want to tell the amazing story about what they just found. And that is the highlight of PoshFest for me, is meeting people, the community, meeting Team Posh. I will tell you, I didn't meet a disgruntled Team Posh member. I feel like people who work for Poshmark love their jobs. That's all I have. I'm gonna stop. My battery is about to die. I hope you enjoyed something about this video. And I will say, if Poshmark is an option for you, either close to you geographically, or you just want to try it one time, I think you're going to enjoy it. If someone says don't ever go to PoshFest and they haven't actually been to PoshFest, you may want to temper their advice with a grain of salt. I say go for it. I think it's worth the money. I think it's worth networking. I think it's worth sitting around and shooting the shit with people who completely understand you and potentially finding your Poshmark friends forever. And I really do feel like I met my Poshmark friends forever. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to come to my lives, they're mainly on Thursday. You can like a post in my closet to be notified when I'm going live. I would love to see you in a live show. If you come, please say hello. Take care, everyone. I'll be back sooner than